So let's get to the business at hand, and we're going to talk about the mobile device, and particularly we added just recently a new feature which allows you to receive a purchase order and create a receiver on the mobile device, on the iOS. By the way, we are making good strides into porting the iOS also into Android. We're actually speeding that up quite a bit as well. So that should be ready in a month at least, some of the functionality. But anyways, so we added the ability to receive inventory. It's part of the whole purchasing cycle, where you have to create a purchase order. You cannot receive without a purchase order. Obviously, that is for control purposes. You don't want staff willy-nilly receiving what they want. I have a video here on our website, which basically takes us through the entire kind of process, and I'm going to review a little bit of that with you today. Unfortunately, I couldn't project my screen there today, but we can take a look at the video. But taking a look at our help, if you want to start using the mobile and you have an iOS or iPhone, you can start by looking at the overview and downloading. You also have to go to the preference and activate those preferences. Basically, you know, all the entire thing works more or less similar. You log in and you're going to kind of download something, either a sales order or a purchase order, from the list of order time, and then you're going to process that. So we continue on that the same idea, but this time it's receiving purchase orders. So we'll just take a quick look at that. And once you have a purchase order, so this is the purchase order that I was working with for the demo, and it has to be approved. If it's not approved, you will not be able to download it. So after that, you're going to open up your device and you're going to click on Receive Purchase Order. And one of the things that I wanted to show you in the settings was that you can change, kind of in the user settings, you can change how the system kind of behaves in terms of, do you want to start scanning with an item or the bin first? Do you want to recognize the name or number or UPC? Which location you're in, so you can only operate out of one location at a time. So if you want to change your location, that's where you would do it. And then the one that I wanted to highlight is pick quantity after scan. And so when you scan, it's always, by default, it's always a unitary, but you can pick additional options. For example, you can pick manual, where you can actually type in what you want after a successful scan. So if you do pick manual, so there is kind of the options there. You have manual, you have one, and all with regard to receiving. So basically, if you scan, it just receives the entire quantity ordered. Or manual, after you scan, you type in what you want to receive, and then one is just incremental, so you can keep on scanning 1, 1, 1, etc. Okay. So we're going to continue on with that, and that's the reason we provide that option, because we know that people will have different preferences with regard to what they want to do after a successful scan, whether they want to increment by one, whether they want to take the entire quantity ordered, or they simply want to scan in, you know, what they want, or type in what they want. All right, so you're going to go to the download screen. In this case, you can see I actually have the PO that I printed off from the system with the barcode. You want to make sure the barcode is large, so it can scan that barcode. Once we scan the barcode, we can see here that we're going to see you can see the actual purchase order and the line items on the purchase order, how much was ordered and how much was received. Then we're going to go to the actual scan screen. So what you see here is a default bin for this item and this location. The item, the image, how much was ordered, and then how much was received in this particular bin. And you can receive it in different bins, and you can scroll it between the bins. So this just shows which bins were actually used, whereas this is a default bin. Okay. So you can see here, as I'm scrolling through the bins, you can see that there's one in B9 and there's one in C11, and then also in this example, we scan the an item that has a serial number. All right, so we're going to do that now. So if the item has a serial number, you'll be required to not only scan in the item and the bin, but also the LSN, which basically stands for serial number. Okay, this little keyboard icon, if you don't have, you can actually scan those in. So there you can see I'm scanning some barcodes there, the serial numbers, and basically it says that everything has been picked, and of course I can scroll through the lot or serial numbers as well. So there we can see that for the hard drive we picked, and what we're showing there is that if we make a mistake, we can go back to the line items, delete the scan, and pick it again. All right, so that's exactly what I'm doing there. I'm now going to scan the bin. I scanned the wrong thing. So obviously if you don't scan a good bin, so we're going to scan the correct bin now. All right, and then it'll move to the LSN and or lot number, and we'll receive those lot numbers. All right. So once it's all received, we go back to the list, and again, you can scroll through the various bins and serial numbers that we've actually received. There's the complete line item with all three receiving, and the top icon on the list, it goes upload, and then it uploads the receiver, and it creates a receiver that is in the system. So we'll see here that in fact the receiver was created. So that's basically that's how basically simple that is. So instead of receiving inventory through the app, you can, or sorry, through the order time system, you can receive it through the app and basically effectuate exactly the same thing as though you were clicking the receive button on the purchase order. And you have the ability to enter different bins. Now, one other thing I wanted to point out, the system will also take into account your receiving preference, which is to either deny receiving greater than ordered. So it will respect this preference as well. If you want to make sure that people do not receive greater than the quantity on the purchase order, then you would check that. That works obviously in this system, but it also works in the mobile device. All right. So that's basically, as you can see, that Michael shared some of the download links. So that really is the new thing that we developed. So you can definitely go ahead. You know, a few people are using it. Just again, to review exactly where we are with the mobile. We have the sales order picking. So that is the ability to convert a sales order into a ship dock. We have the ship dock and packing, which basically takes a ship dock and you can basically create packages, 1, 2, 3 packages, put different items in packages, and then receiving. The next thing that we're probably going to be working on is more of the warehouse functions, starting with the, moving bins, locations, transferring locations, and doing inventory counts as well as adjustments. So we're gonna, round out that the warehouse functions of the mobile device in by the end of the year. Okay. So that's my short presentation on the device. If you have any questions, by all means, I'm open. I don't want to keep. If you guys, have any questions, go ahead. You can just go ahead and type them in the chat window.
Yeah, if you click up in the top right, you can click on chat and type in your questions now. The links are also in the chat to the video for receiving purchase orders, the overview and download link, and the user manual. I'm going to be sending out those links in a follow-up email right after this webinar as well. And we've got a question, does it handle transfers?
Yep.
I think, yeah. We're also adding the warehousing transfers in the next update.
Well, by the end of the year, we'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll probably start with some bin moves, and then kind of graduate to creating transfers, creating adjustments, and doing a full-blown inventory count as well. So once we have the basic structure already set up, and then really the sky's the limit in terms of the mobile after we complete kind of the warehousing functions. It's possible that we'll take a look at sales, like creating a sales order, or even creating a ship dock, customer lead, etc., things like that, and also some of the work order stuff, which we want to add, make it easier to operate a work order. So the mobile device is going to be, a tool that's going to be used as a kind of a simpler interface to operate kind of order time without going through the screens and a browser. So that's kind of our thinking on the devices. We have the iOS, already launched, and the Android it's on its way. It's already in development. So I saw it yesterday, and looking good. Is there any other questions? I know this is a kind of a shorter than my usual webinars, but it wasn't really a complicated webinar.
Plus, we have videos that you can click on and watch after this. I'll send them out in the email directly after this webinar, and then you can watch them. They're just 5-6 minute videos.
All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I appreciate the time. I know that it's a kind of short and sweet, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew about this receiving option, how it operates, and how you can leverage it. Have a good day, everybody.